Hello everyone. So in this video, you're going to learn about functions in JavaScript. So in any language, in any programming language, there are certain rules to specify the function. Function is nothing but you will put together set of code inside a capsule, and then you can just call that set of codes by its name. Okay, instead of writing the same. For example, if you have put together some 10 line of code inside this package called function, instead of using that 10 line of code again and again, you can simply use the name of the function. You can just call that particular group of statements by its name. This is called function name. So this concept is called reusing. It provides the reusing of the code. You don't need to write the same code again and again. You can simply put it together inside a package called function, and you can just call that function by its name, which is called function calling. So each language has its own way to define a function. In JavaScript, this is the method to define a function. You have to use the keyword called function. So you remember what is keyword, which has its own meaning. So function is the keyword. You have to use it only for defining the function. Function keyword you have to use, and then name of function you can specify. And then what are the data that you need to process this function that you can specify inside the parameters. So this is the syntax to specify function in JavaScript. If you don't want to specify the name of the function, JavaScript also provide you the way to specify anonymous function where you don't need to specify the function name. You can simply specify the function and then pass the parameter. But the thing is, like, you cannot do the function calling. You have to always replace that with this set of code. Okay. So let's see an example here. So for function definition, function is the keyword. The function name is calculate value. And this is called parameter. Parameter is the data that you need to process to perform this operation. To calculate the value, you need the data length, width, and height. So you're passing this data inside this. So wherever you call this function, you can simply call this function by specifying the calculate value. Wherever you calculate the value, saying 10, 20, 30, wherever you call this, the particular function will be called and the operation will happen, and it can print out the result. Let me explain it. So we have defined a function here. So let me explain it in the console. So function is the keyword, calculate volume is the function name, and length, width, height are the data that we need to process to perform this operation, which is called parameters. And here I have given the formula and document.write. So this is just function definition. Without function calling, there is no use. So we have to call the function. To call the function, you can simply call the function name like this. So here the function name is calculate value, and I'm just calling this calculate value function with passing this parameter 10, 20, 30. 10 will be assigned with length, and 20 will be assigned with width, and height will be assigned with 30. So when I call this function, this operation will be done, and the volume will be calculated, and the calculated value will be printed here. I have called it twice, so you can see 6,000 is printed 2 times here. Okay, so this is called function calling. So just understand this construct. Function is the keyword. Function name is the function name. This is function name, and this is called parameter, and this is function body, and this is called function calling, and this 10, 20, 30 are called arguments. So these are called arguments. So when you define a function, you need these are the 3 components that you need to understand. Function definition has the keyword, name, and the parameters and the body of the function. And this function definition is no use without you use that. So to use that, you have to call the functions. Let me call it again with different values. Now I'm going to call it with 100, 200, and 300. So in 200. So you can see now the volume is going to be 400,000. Okay. So this is called function calling. This 100, 200, 200 is called arguments. Okay. These are called arguments. So that's all you need to know about function definition and function calling. Now let's see how you can use this function in the browser. how you can combine it with the web page development. So you can call functions in response to the browser events. The last chapter I have explained what is event. Event is something like whatever change that happens in the web page, the associated response is called events. So how can we combine this event concept with this function? Browsers support three types of function calling when it comes to combining the events along with the JavaScript function. You can do it in through three different methods. You can just pass the function calling as a value to the attribute. You know what is attribute, right? Here input is the HTML tag and this on click is the attribute of this tag. And you're providing the attribute value as a function calling here. Okay, this is one way. Or specifying the property value. Okay, so here on this is the whole thing will be considered as an object dot property. Recall what is object. Object is nothing but the combination of the property and method, and passing the function calling as a property value. Okay, on click is the property or variable, and you're passing this function calling as a value of this property. So that is another second method. The third method, which is most popular method, is calling that as passing that as a odd event listener method. Argument as odd event listener method. The add event listener is popular event listener method that is associated with the JavaScript. So this passing this function calling as a parameter to this add event listener. Okay, add event listener method parameter. First method will be what is the event, and the second will be when that event happens, what function needs to be called. So when someone clicks that button, this show message should be called. Okay. So this there are these are three different methods. For example, here, let me explain the first method again. Here you have the input tag, on click is the attribute, and when submit happens, when someone clicks the submit, then shows the method. When that event happens, show the method. What is the method? Thanks for your order. That will be like Windows.alert will just give you the pop-up menu in the browser. So when someone click the submit button, just show this message. Okay, so we are passing this function calling as an attribute value here. The second one is as passing it as a property value. On click is the property. Let me explain it with the W3 school. Okay, here, let me try it. So here, document.getElementID demo.innerHTML. So this whole thing is, this is document, that is the object dot property, and here we are calling the function. Okay, so when I call, we are assigning this function calling as a property value here. The object dot property and the function calling is assigned as a value. When I click this, when that event happens, then the date is getting clicked. Okay, so this is the second method of function calling. And the third method is get element by ID. So you know what is ID, right? So we have used the ID in HTML. Get the element by its ID name. If the ID name is submit button, just get that element, and then when that element is getting clicked, when this event happens, then based on that event, when that happens, call this message. Okay, show message function will be called, and that will display the message. Okay, so if you want to do it in an anonymous way, if you don't, here you have given the name called show message. If you don't give a message, a function name called show message, then you can do it in an anonymous way like this. Event, when that event happens, what should happen here? Okay, without function name. Okay, so in these three ways, you can associate the functions along with the event. Okay, so that is what you need to know about functions and how you can combine the functions along with the event in JavaScript. Thank you.